Everyone, Dr. Adam Graves here. Today we're talking to Christy, blog newsletter writer. We're going to talk about kind of how to transition into the new normal now that some places are slightly opening up, what that looks like, what's safe, what's not, how to kind of help support people through this. So go ahead, Christy.
Yeah, I have lots of questions for you today.
Okay.
I know you have no magic 8 ball, but
Yeah.
I'm really curious on a lot of things because, like you said, things are starting to open up,
Mhm.
but we still have so many answers that are left, or so many questions that have been left unanswered.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
want to start out by asking you how do we begin to go into this new normal when there is so many things that are unknown? We don't know, are the schools going to
Yep.
be opening? Can we go to the
Yep.
playground? What about summer camps? All this stuff.
Yep.
How do we even begin to
Yeah.
transition into a more normal life?
Yep. So it's hard but not impossible. So I'm like I've always been. Let's see what the data says. Let's see what the science. I was totally on board. Um, shutting everything down, giving the United States some time to get our own data, our own facts, giving the hospitals some time. I think what everybody's forgot is the reason we shut down was to give everybody time, not to save everybody lives. So we've given the hospital.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So we needed to give the hospital time. We needed to do two things. We needed to get some better statistics so we could make decisions based off science, not off politics or belief systems. And we needed to also give the hospitals times to give vents in place to prepare part of their hospital for COVID-19 patients. So I feel we did that. We all abided. At this point, though, to prevent any further fallout and to follow the data outside of any political affiliation or personal belief, if we follow the data, we really need to be putting our resources into protecting the at-risk population, which is obese, elderly, or blood sugar issues right now. Those are the top three. Anybody outside of that, in my opinion, should really start doing their best to get back to life. I wouldn't, go in groups of 10s, but I would definitely start maybe visiting friends or let your kids play with other kids.
Really?
Because we have the hospitals are ready now. The hospitals are empty. So if we have a second surge, now we're prepared.
But what about people who don't want to get sick in the first place? What if
And
you're
they
scared about catching this now that things are reopening?
Okay, so that's, in my opinion, that's a fear-based decision because the data doesn't support that. And I believe in personal choice. So if you're still nervous and scared and want to give it time, then you do what you need to do for you and your family. There's no obligation to go out if you don't want to. You can wait for numbers, you can wait. But what I don't want to happen to people is people get stuck in this fear cycle where they're so isolated, they're barraged by bullshit, media, social media, politics. Like we're creating this whole fear cycle that's keeping everybody stuck. And I think we need to start moving out of that, getting back to some normality. Now, am I saying like go to church around 100 people? No, like still kind of stay less than groups of 10, still kind of, if you've been healthy and your kids have been healthy and your friends' kids have been healthy and you've been healthy, I think it's time to start getting back to some sense of new normalcy while protecting the at-risk population. That's really where all our resources should be right now, is protecting the at-risk population. And it's a personal choice. So I recommend people county by county. In Douglas County, our numbers look really good. Plus, we have 3 hospitals. We have Skyridge, Castle Rock Adventist, Park Adventist. We have enough hospital space if things start to resurge. So,
okay. Let me ask you this though. For those of us who are a little scared of contracting COVID, what about what we're hearing about what it could be doing to younger people or these rare conditions that are happening in kids? I know that it's one thing to say, I'm starting to hear now, be mindful of the at-risk population,
Yeah.
but we still are hearing all these stories about younger people as well, and healthy people and immune systems that are just going out of whack. What do you
Mhm.
say to that?
Two things. One, those are what we call outliers. So that is a very low percentage of those people, and the news and media is highlighting it, in my opinion, to keep people in fear. On the other hand, yes, people are going to die. That's life. Unfortunately, we can't save everybody's life. I'm sorry. I think what you need to do if you are going out, the same thing you would do if you during flu season. If you feel sick, you need to stay home. You need to do TLC. You need to drink tons of water. Call me or call your primary care first signs of symptoms. And you really need to just treat this like a severe flu and take it easy.
What about, and kind of going off of that, so
Yeah.
we have some great herbs and supplements at our
Yep.
house, at least,
Yeah.
that we have gotten from you that help build the immune system up.
Yep.
When I listen to some cases in which the immune system, a healthy immune system, has kind of went overboard and,
Yep.
to fight this, there's been some issues. Uh,
Yes.
what happens, is it still a good idea to take that stuff if we start to feel sick?
Yep. So it doesn't, the herbs and everything like that. So yeah, there's a lot of misconfusion. Sorry, got to adjust my phone here. If you're healthy, that means a healthy weight, which most Coloradans, luckily in Colorado, we have a very healthy population. That's why our death rate is a lot probably lower than cities with or country or cities or populations with a higher obesity rate or higher elderly rate. Um, but no, those things are still safe. Herbs and nutrients help modulate the immune system. They don't really stimulate it and cause inflammation. And herbs and nutrients should be taken right away when you start feeling achy or sick or runny nose at the first sign.
Can you say that again? Herbs help modulate, they don't stimulate the immune system? Did I hear that right?
That's correct. Well, yeah, they don't overstimulate the immune system. They could, but you'd have to take gallons or, pounds of herbs to have any effect. Herbal medicine, I mean, that's why herbs aren't pharmaceuticals. They don't have the concentration, the side effects as medications and things like that. So all the data now is this is still kind of like a severe flu. Now, unfortunately, it's highly deadly in a select population, so we want to protect those people, but we shouldn't live paralyzed by fear, in my opinion, at this point anymore with the data we have. You look at countries like Sweden, everybody was stressed out at first, but now, they've been open for a while and, people aren't dying left and right there, so we have better data and better examples. And I think it's different. We have to realize Douglas County, county by county, we're a lot different than New York City. If you live in downtown Denver where people are stacked on top of each other, I'd probably be like, no, be hesitant. Like, you guys, had your bets. But in Douglas County specifically, we're spread out. There's a lot more air. There's a lot more space. Like, I think we need to stop creating policies that are state by state and really go look at county by county and how many openings they have in the hospitals and what's what we call R naught, our infection rate, all those things, and all that data looks good right now. And I think people need to start getting back to life before the death toll from this fallout economic and fallout is going to start rising, cause more deaths than the actual coronavirus.
Okay. So give me
Sorry, is that
two.
confusing?
No, I think some of this is a little bit different information or a different perspective, at least from what I know.
Yeah, it is. And that's because the way my mind works, I mean, I'm open to looking at the data and seeing the trends and changing my mind.
Okay, so to wrap this up,
Yeah.
Give me 2 to 3 things that we may not be doing right now that you think is okay to start taking the steps to slowly create a new normal. And I
Self-care.
think normal is going to be different for everyone.
Yep,
But what
exactly.
are some things that we can do to start feeling a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah,
Because I think for some of us it's a little scary. There is a lot of fear with this. So what can we
it
do that
is.
are simple ways to start?
Um, I think you got to find out what it's kind of like never swimming before, or being scared of water. You got to dip your toe in
Mhm.
and feel that you're safe and pull it back out. So people need to start dipping their toe in, whether that's scheduling a haircut, yes, it's weird, you got to wear a mask, or scheduling massage, starting some self-care things where it's more one-on-one and you're not going out to big groups or packed bars or stuff like that. But
Okay.
slowly doing simple things that that person has been. I mean, we've all been locked indoors for a month, so most of us should be not exposed and pretty healthy. Or the other side of that is, which confusing, is this could have been around since December, and all of us may have been, a lot of us have been exposed. So we don't know, but the data still is what it is, and I think we really need to start dipping our toe in self-care.
Okay. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
What about else? What about with our kids?
I think you need to start, yeah, going on more hikes, going to places outdoors more, going to places where you may pass people on a trail, but you're not, you know, in a church building stacked on top of each other.
No
Or
playgrounds yet?
I think playgrounds are okay if they're not too packed. And as long as, I mean, it all comes down to common sense and kindness, man. People are scared. If you're scared, wear a mask, have your kids wear a mask, and stay away from people. And everybody should be respectful. If people don't have, the people that don't want to wear a mask and aren't, too scared, I think they still need to be understanding and be like, hey, not everybody
Yeah.
feels the same way. We all just give people stay safe space and just be kind. It all comes to just being kind, be safe, and slowly get back to doing things that help you feel more normal, whether that's haircut, massages, hiking, going
Okay.
to the lake, things like that.
So we have start doing something for your self-care.
Yep. Yep.
Loosen up with kids and your activities a little bit,
I
getting out a
think
little
so.
bit more.
Yep.
And then maybe for the third one, I have questions on who I should be around. Is it okay to go see grandparents right now? Um,
I
Especially
see.
in an older population, is that okay?
I definitely not if they're in an assisted living or anything like that. So if they're in assisted living or nursing home, if they can come, um, I would just, for now, for another month or so, keep avoiding that situation till we keep seeing the data we need to see. And we still know, no matter what the data says that's still a very at-risk population.
Okay, what about if grandparents are at home or your brother or sister or friends? Can
Mhm.
we start getting together if, especially if we're not in a, if we're
I,
in a, just in a private area?
yeah, yeah. I think if you've been healthy and your family's been healthy for a month, and their kids and their family's been healthy for a month, and no one should feel pressure. Everybody gets to choose. Everybody, that's a hard concept. We're so used to the government telling us what to do and not do. I think we're past that point because the mixed messages are so screwed up of what to do and what not to do. So I think at this point, everybody's got to decide what they're comfortable with. So if you communicate with I always ask, it's one thing if family members have been home with their kids for a month and everybody's healthy. Now, if your kids are going over to family members that their grandma is living in the house with them, that's 95. No, definitely not.
Or
You know.
what about someone, a friend that might work in an essential job?
So
So has been going into work every day or most days. Is that
if they're
okay?
if they're interacting with an at-risk population, I'd probably just wait and see how it goes. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
hedge your bets. But you know, it's ev- a core philosophy I live by is the middle way. That's about Chinese medicine, Buddhism, acupuncture, health, moderation. Everything's in moderation. So you have one people like, hey, everybody stay home, we're all gonna die. And then the other side is, oh, go out, live what you want, be around everybody. 99.9% of the time, the answer is in the middle way. So you don't have to go out to the bars and party and be around a bunch of people anymore, but you don't have to stay isolated. So everybody's got to choose what that middle way is for them. You know, we're kind of on a precipice of if we're not past it, you know, a mental health disaster, an economic disaster. I feel like, you know, we got to put the coronavirus disaster kind of on steady as it goes, and we can do our things to start prevent these other disasters the best we can now.
Well, thanks. I maybe you do have that magic 8 ball after all. Thank you for
Yeah,
answering some questions. I know you don't have the answers and you don't guarantee anything, but I
yeah,
think having a doctor's perspective, especially because you're seeing the numbers and you're able to kind of understand them maybe a little bit more than lay people, is really helpful to hear your
yeah, and
suggestions.
I don't really subscribe to any political affiliation. I'm super independent, so I look both ways. And what people want to know is if the numbers start going in the wrong direction, we can always go back to what we are now. You know, it's not black or white, it's not all or nothing, it's a balanced middle way. You know, start doing things, start getting out, seeing how you are, check in on people. Hey, I'm always checking in, like, hey, any friends, any relatives, anybody you know has been sick, how's everybody doing? And keep checking on everybody. And all, if the numbers stay good, then we slowly go a little bit deeper in the water. You know, if the numbers don't look good, then we slowly come out of the water. So it's, everybody needs to start finding that middle way and move out of fear that politics and media and everything's created, and start moving into more like, how can I, you know, navigate the situation that feels the best for me and my family.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, then we'll be in touch. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Bye.
Bye bye.